What's up, my dudes? We got the new motocross track on Monster Energy Supercross 2, the official video game. Now, I did come in here and actually kind of give my opinions on the whole new compound that they have, but I wanted to make a separate video on the motocross track here in particular to really give my opinions on it. And I think we can go into a lot more of a conversation here, a lot more different things that could be used in their next game that they come out with, which obviously is probably going to be some form of a motocross game and not a supercross game. Got her whipped over a little too far there, boys. Couldn't bring it back. I tried, but he just got stuck in the air. So yeah, either way, just want to come here and check this out in the daytime mode, no rain, really get a nice feel of it. So any of you guys that's played MXGP Pro, you can see the similarities in this track and the MXGP Pro compound motocross track. They're basically the same thing, but just slightly different designed. But one thing about this track that I really liked is just the overall fun factor of it and the bigger berms in the corners, right? We not really known for seeing this out of Milestone. This has been one of my biggest nitpicky things I've had for their motocross designs, track designs over the years of their like MXGP2, MXGP3, MXGP Pro, stuff like that, which they have slightly improved on it over time, but a lot of times their corners will just be way too flat, way too smooth, no roughness, no inside lines. Like Milestone is known for doing that. And if you don't have that on a motocross track, then do you even really have a motocross track? I don't know. I mean, it gets to the point where it's like, damn, that's like everything to it. Which this track doesn't really have a whole lot of like braking bump roughness. I think that's one aspect they're still missing, that whole like skill to the motocross tracks and all that. But as far as like the getting more of a berm in a corner and more of a inside rut line here and there, and some of the jumps have a little bit bigger, more actually like jumping you up in the air instead of feeling like you're just hitting a little 5-foot local vibe double. Like, you actually feel like you're getting a little bit more jump fun factor now, so that was really cool to see. Hold the gas on quite a bit through there. Little bit of elevation on this puppy, so cool, kind of how you snake through the trees and stuff. Yeah, let me make sure I'm actually, I'm going over the whole track right here. I'm trying to make sure I'm not just going on like half of the track, because I know there's some areas where you kind of snake through certain spots and stuff like that. So I haven't rode a whole lot of laps on it here, but in this jump right here, this is a prime example of a nice motocross jump, in my opinion. And just that amount of airtime, right? Just that amount of peakness in airtime and distance from your bottom of your wheels to the ground when you jump. That's how most of the jumps should feel. Obviously, they can be, a trillion different variations of like jump, double, tabletop landing, uphill, triple, long landing, huge jump into rollers. All I'm trying to, I'm not saying it's got to be that exact kind of like bigger supercrossy double jump vibe to it, right? Or hybridy double vibe. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that amount of airtime is more like what I'm looking for. It can be any kind of jump design, but just that more airtime, not only time in the air, but distance from, actually how high up in the air you are, right? That's another, the aspect I think they're missing a lot in. But, whoa, dog. Yeah, really cool section. You come down through the rock, the Super Rock Mountain on both sides right there. Whoa, had a little lighting change right there. What the hell was that? Something's going on with my graphics. Either my graphics card or a little bug or something. But the whole lighting just like completely changed. Maybe the time of day is getting a little bit more light, and then it just automatically changed it. I'm not exactly sure. Could be having a bug here, or it could just be the time of day kind of warping around a little bit, and then it's changing the lighting somewhat. But this double right here is just awesome, dude. If they just made that landing just a little bit more peaked where it was a little bit more skill gap, that would be freaking awesome right there, dude. But yeah, they're just missing out on that whole roughness vibe to a motocross track. Like, and the thing about it is even if they did put some braking bump roughness, The problem is with, as you guys know, these milestone games, I mean, you've seen it in the whoops and the rollers, they're just not difficult. They're not hard. You just hold the gas down and you're going to go right through them just fine. You're never going to get out of shape. It's never going to bounce out of shape. The front end's never going to drop down or go too high, or it just doesn't really do that. So even if you did have like braking bump roughness or acceleration bumps or whatever, like you typically have on a lot of your motocross tracks, a lot of the skill gap to a lot of your motocross tracks, even if you had that in this game, it wouldn't really make all that much of a difference because just bumps and whoops and rollers in general aren't difficult in this game. So they've got to almost improve on that, making that more of a skill and more difficult in the game before they can even really start adding the roughness and it actually making a difference, right? But that's what I want to see in their future motocross game, is that more braking bump, skill gap, and roughness, and make that bike bounce around a little bit. Make it feel a little more sketchy when you go into a corner and you start, the back end will start bouncing out from under you and stuff like that. But yeah, and then not only having like an inside rut berm, but going in a corner and having like 3 or 4 hardcore ruts that you can get into where you're basically forced into a rut, and it's not just like 2 berms in the corner. They kind of got that vibe going a little bit right here. Let me show you. Like, I can go up the inside. There's a little bit of a rut there, but let's not kid ourselves. That's some like early on day MX Simulator little dual berm wannabe rut kind of vibe going on. It's not really ruts, but like I really hope they can figure that out in the future, getting the where you have to pick a rut in a corner. Like, there's just so many ruts in the corner, you have to pick one. Whereas Milestone, a lot of their games, like, you can see the ruts on the track. You can see it right there. But those aren't hard ruts. They're soft. You're just going to ride over them like they're a sand roller rut. Like, they're not even, they're not really. So, like, if it didn't have that graphical look of those little pre-made looking ruts that are not actually sturdy at all, those little soft ruts right there, just to kind of make the track look more real, if it didn't have that, if it was more of a pure, like, what you're seeing is what you're getting, as far as like, if you see a rut, it's going to be more of a hardcore rut, you wouldn't see, these tracks would look like Play-Doh, because there is no really hardcore ruts on them. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? Like, if it didn't have that visual look to it, it wouldn't even seem like a real motocross track at all. But they're kind of tricking your mind a little bit, where you're seeing all those ruts on the track, so you're thinking there's ruts, but there's really not any at all. And so that's kind of a trick it plays on your mind there. But yeah, I did really enjoy this motocross track right here. Nice to see it in this game. Couple of fun little jumps here and there. It could have had a little bit more skill gap to it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it is obviously a little bit easy, but it's a step in the right direction, for Milestone, which sometimes is not saying much, but, it's a step in the right direction on their motocross track design. But, like, right down through here, some roughness. Like, where's the braking bumps on some of this, man? That would have made that right through there so much more fun. Little bit of kind of sort of couple little bumps right through there, but not really. Then you come through here, just not a whole lot of bumps going on, man. And but overall, it's a fun track. You guys will definitely appreciate this, especially if you've been just sitting there riding on the in-stadium Supercross tracks constantly in this game. It'll really feel like a big refresher to you. So that'll be a lot of fun for some of you guys out there. But yeah, really dig this double right here. You can jump the crap out of it too. So that's pretty cool. But like how that cornering, just keep on the throttle pretty much hard as you want to. I like a couple of these areas where you go down. Kind of, they really played with that going down in the terrain and then having both the sides kind of built up around you. That's a cool look that you can get on some tracks out there. But, yeah, I just hope that over time they can improve, more on their motocross tracks and get away from that kind of basic-y, no rut, no berm, no braking bump, no jump fun factor, no skill gap. I hope they can get away from all that crap that's kind of, it's just killed a lot of the replayability and a lot of the fun to a lot of their motocross games here recently with the, like, MXGP2, MXGP3, MXGP Pro. It's been Milestone's hardest things to get figured out. It's just that true motocrossy, like, fun factor and skill gap and something that keeps you wanting to come back and play it. Not that you got to make it super difficult, but just, having that little bit of a bigger line here and there for the more pro guys in the game, and getting a little bit more roughness going on to where it doesn't just feel like you're holding the gas down everywhere, right? Kind of gives you a little bit of a, oh man, if I really hold this wide open all the way through that corner, I might just completely bounce off the bike, right? That sort of feeling like that. You know, you want to kind of get more of that, see, that fear creates excitement, you know, that skill gap and fear of crashing on something creates the excitement and the fun factor. But if there is really no risk in wrecking, you can just hold it wide open everywhere. It kind of eliminates so much of the fun, in a sense, right? And that's just the way it is. But it's pretty cool how you come through this whole little, little like factory area and stuff. That's nice. Got like a Supercrossy whoop section here. And then a little bit of a tabletop-y style jump right there. No reason to go to the outside there. Pretty much everybody's going to sweep up the inside. Now right here, you might be able to kind of work your insides a little more here, right? Shave off a little bit of time that way. And then, let's see, even here, which I'm in the free ride mode, so I'm like totally cutting the track, but jump way up the inside there, shave off time. You know, if I was really wanting to start trying to ride on the track like a pro, I could start being a little more extreme like that with it, but either way. Dude, I just really want to hit some bigger jumps in this game, like some 150-foot tabletops and fun shit like that where it's like you got to be wide open from the corner to actually land it all the way. You know, cool stuff like that where it really gives you the jumping up in the air feeling. They're getting it a little more, but just still not quite there yet, in my opinion, you know. They're getting the kind of berms built up in the corners a little bit more. They don't feel so flat, so they're getting that going a little bit more. But I don't really see why you would hit that berm instead of just cutting up the inside. You'd probably save way more time cutting on the inside there. But this whole little section right here is a little bit weird. Not a whole lot of flow going on with it, but then it kind of picks it back up here. So, cool little jump right there over the train track. And this rut right here, I mean, you just about could go faster not even hitting that inside rut, just rolling up the inside like I did right there. So they've got to find more of a balance to their tracks, like more of a, it's actually more worth it to go on the inside rut versus just sweeping up the inside and skipping everything. You know, they've got to find more of that track balance at some point. They're definitely lacking a little bit there as well, but hopefully they can figure that out. Okay. Kind of a little bit of a hybridy design to it right there in that spot, because that's obviously not really, I mean, they could have made those whoops a little bit bigger, made them more like Washougal rollers. That would have been cool. Would have been more like a motocross track. But those straight up just feel like Supercross whoops. They don't even feel like motocross. You know what I'm saying? So, but either way, I'm really ready to see some different biome motocross tracks, like some snow track biome motocross stuff, or some desert vibe motocross tracks in their games, because this is very reminiscent, repetitive to obviously the MXGP Pro compound and even the base compound in this game. This is very similar biome design to that, you know, that kind of standard woodland vibe to it. So I want to see them kind of expand that a little bit. Maybe a tropical one would be cool, something like that. Just give you a little bit of refreshing kind of feel to it, instead of feeling like you're in the same woodland biome area that you've been in the past, 5 games. Like, it's nice when, I really like when these motocross games get a little bit more inventive, a little bit more adventurous with their biome off-track designs and stuff. So want to see that in the future for sure. But either way, I just want to come out here and check out this motocross track, guys. I really think they've improved on some areas, still not quite where they need to be in some areas, but I think overall we'll get it at some point. It's just, it may be 2-3 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, till we get that real motocrossy, skill gappy, arcadey, like more like that reflex type feel. I mean, like some of you guys saying that milestone games are never going to be like reflex or don't need to be like reflex or whatever. I don't really understand that, because since these milestone games have started, all they've done is just become more and more and more like reflex over time. That's all they've done, which is not a bad thing at all. That's what they should be doing. But that's what I'm trying to get across to you, is they're becoming more and more skill gapped, bigger jump design. You got to be more precise with the jumping. It's got more of a pop-off effect to it. The whips are becoming a little bit bigger, a little bit freer like they would be in Reflex. So the game is working to more of like that arcade Reflex, true good arcade motocross game like Reflex is, right? So it's just a matter of time till it just gets even more like Reflex and more like Reflex. So some of you guys that are saying, oh, the shadowing came back there, guys see how it changed the track. Some of you guys that are saying that like it doesn't need to be like Reflex or it doesn't need to be it's never going to be like Reflex. That's some bullshit because that's what they're. You give them another 5 years and it's going to be way closer to Reflex than it is now. So, and that's really a good thing in my opinion. I mean, I think that's the improvement of any motocross arcade game is working your way to more of like how Reflex was, because that's the legend. That's the pinnacle. That's the bar that's been set has been Reflex, not some of these other motocross games. I mean, Reflex is the one, dog. There ain't no doubt about it. So the more this gets like that, I promise you, the more fun it's going to be, the more people it's going to play it, the more content they can get like how it was in Reflex, the more the people is going to buy it. It's just the way it is, man. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Really sick area right here in these rocks like this. That was awesome. That was a really cool addition. And just some of the other little parts of this track are pretty cool too. Just need some more roughness, need some more skill gap, need a little bit more ruts going on, then you'll really be on to something here, Milestone. You'll really be getting something going. So either way, guys, appreciate all the support. Don't forget to go follow me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Steam, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, at Spencer Turley, no space, no capital, and I'll add you back on it. So yeah, guys, either way, I'll be back on the next video, boys. Later, dudes.